He's chasing history.
It's similar to Roger.
I was dominating the Grand Slam.
What we're seeing at the Australian Open right now is something special, because this tournament has turned into a crossroads between generations. And at the center of it all, once again, is Novak Djokovic. Today's quarterfinal against Lorenzo Musetti was supposed to be another routine step for Djokovic in Melbourne, a place where he has built one of the most dominant legacies in sports history. Instead, it turned into a reminder that nothing comes easy anymore. For the first time in this tournament, Novak looked human. He wasn't dictating rallies, his serve wasn't bailing him out, and the crowd could feel something unexpected was happening. Then the match took a cruel turn. Musetti, who was clearly the better player on the day, was forced to retire with a leg injury early in the third set.
I felt there was something strange in my right leg. I continued to play because I was playing really well, but I was feeling that pain was increasing and the problem was not getting away. I honestly have no words to describe how I'm feeling right now, and honestly I never imagined the feeling of leading 2-0 against Novak and playing like that and have the lead of the match like that and be forced to retire is something that of course I would never imagine, and of course it's really painful.
I think today's example with Musetti is really clearly showing how challenging this sport is. He was a better player on the court, he was close to win it, he was in a control, and then obviously something happens, and if you're part of the team sports then maybe you go out and somebody substitutes you for a set, but that's not possible in our sport. But I didn't feel that in the second set he was affecting his game much, but probably gotten worse, and yeah, that's what happened. If I play Yannick, I lost to him 4 or 5 in a row, so yeah, he's just playing on such a high level right now along with Carlos. They're two best players in the world, so absolute favorite, but hopefully I can deliver my A game for that matchup, because that's what's going to be needed at least to have a chance. I wasn't playing close to my best today, so I'm gonna have to change that.
Djokovic advanced, but even he admitted afterward that it wasn't the way he wanted to win. Still, the result stands. Novak Djokovic is back in the Australian Open semifinals, and history is still within reach. This match perfectly sums up Djokovic's current reality. The hunger is still there. The experience is unmatched. The belief never disappears. But physically, the margins are smaller than ever. At 38 years old, Djokovic no longer steamrolls opponents from start to finish. He survives. He adapts. He waits for moments. And sometimes, like today, he needs a bit of fortune. The big question now is whether he can raise his level when it matters most, because the opponents waiting for him are the toughest tennis has to offer. If Djokovic wants to win this Australian Open, he likely has to go through both Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, the two men who currently represent the future of the sport. Carlos Alcaraz has been nothing short of electric in Melbourne. He's reached his first ever Australian Open semifinal, and it feels like only a matter of time before he lifts this trophy. Alcaraz brings a mix of speed, power, creativity, and fearlessness that very few players in history have possessed at such a young age.
Carlos, by the way, he's doing the same shit that he did against Sinner at the US Open final last year. He's maybe the only person on earth that doesn't need an approach shot to get into the net. He creates a ground stroke, and then all of a sudden, because he's so fast, he just is able to get into spots where it's not even natural if you're his opponent to anticipate him being there. His backhand, he attacks it more than he ever has. His serve looks better than he ever has. He can go 128T all the time. He's hitting that little off-speed cutter. He's starting to get that serve variance where he's pitching the ball game where he can throw an 85-second serve in, he can run it up the register to 102. It's similar to Roger. In the greats, I say it all the time ad nauseum on this, they force you to play above your comfort zone. It's revving an engine 20% more than what you should. The engine's more likely to break down.
Early in the tournament, right, there was a lot of press and stuff around Carlos copying Novak's serve motion.
Carlos, 3 years ago, if you go back and watch his serve, he would go down and up. When you do that, you can basically hit flat, but you're not getting that motion. Your elbow is too close. You need your elbow to be a little bit freer. He knows that his serve doesn't have to be as good as mine, because I need the serve to win points. He needs the serve to win points, but then set up the next shot, because he's so good from that middle ball. And he doesn't really miss. He's like Ohtani or Bonds. If you make a mistake in the strike zone, you're gonna get punished more often than not. And even if he doesn't punish you there and doesn't hit it perfectly, then you're just back to neutral. We normally look for those dips and he's shown us early in slams, like he'll take a set off. He hasn't done that here at all. Carlos is playing well. Think through how well he's played in his last 12 Grand Slam matches from the US Open through 5 rounds here. That's big stuff.
What makes Alcaraz especially dangerous now is his maturity. He's no longer just a highlight machine. He's patient, tactically aware, and comfortable winning ugly when he has to. A title here wouldn't just be another Grand Slam. It would complete his career Grand Slam and firmly establish him as the dominant force of his era. If Alcaraz plays his best tennis, he has the weapons to overpower anyone, including Djokovic. Then there's Jannik Sinner, the man who has quietly turned Melbourne into his kingdom. The defending champion has been ruthless on hard courts, and his game looks built for these conditions. Clean ball striking, relentless baseline pressure, elite movement, and an icy calm under pressure. Sinner doesn't give you much. He doesn't panic, he doesn't disappear, he just keeps hitting heavy, precise shots until opponents crack. Mentally, Sinner may be the toughest challenge Djokovic can face right now. He's already beaten Novak on big stages. He believes he belongs at the top, and he knows how to win here. A third Australian Open title would cement him as the king of hard courts and the standard everyone else has to chase.
He's chasing history, but he is able to compartmentalize. He's able to just get out there and go be the assassin that he is on the tennis court and just put emotion to the side and just focus on what am I going to do out here in this moment. The guy's amazing at controlling the controllables, isn't he? I mean, that he's proven time and time again.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it again. Him losing from triple championship point up at Roland Garros last year, coming back to the Wimbledon final, dropping that first set against Alcaraz, and finding a way to win. It's one of the best mental performances I think we've seen in sport, to be able to bounce back from that. Jim is right. Stone cold assassin, and to be able to put emotion aside and just focus on what you want to do. It's easier said than done, but that was maybe one of the highest examples I've ever seen.
Yeah, for those players at the very, very top of tennis historically, there is something that separates them from the field. Yes, the tennis, but a lot of times it's the work ethic, willing to put in that hard work each and every day, but it's also the mindset and belief that is much different than the players really ranked from about 5 on down. There is something special. These two, both Sinner and Alcaraz, have it. They have it in different ways, but they both have that factor where I am not going to lose. I'm going to do everything that I can to win, and nothing is going to take me off my path.
So where does that leave Novak Djokovic? His chances are real, but they are not guaranteed. Djokovic still has the greatest return game in tennis, unmatched court intelligence, and the ability to elevate his level in big moments like no one else in history. If he finds rhythm on serve, shortens points, and stays physically strong, he can absolutely beat anyone left in this draw. But this Australian Open feels different. For the first time in years, Novak is no longer the clear favorite. He's the challenger, fighting against time, youth, and 2 players operating at their physical peak. And that might be exactly what makes him dangerous. Because if there's one thing tennis has taught us over the years, it's this: never count out Novak Djokovic in Melbourne.